Business. Good evening, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor. So another Sunday coaching tonight. I want to go over couple quick little things before we get started, some updates, and we got a lot of stuff coming. So definitely stay tuned towards the end. We'll talk about some of those as well. A lot of the coaching calls and coachings that a lot of people have been asking for. I'm not going to say they're coming back right now, but we do have a lot of events that are going to cover a lot of the same things that are happening. So, currently we have about two or three individual students, I call them, that are being coached directly, but we're not going to go above that. And, I keep repeating myself on the same thing, and I don't have the time. That's just blunt, honest, is I'm not going to give you half report, half coaching, anything. If you pay, you invest in your education, you deserve 100%. So that being said, is with our limited time, everything that we got going on, and we'll go over some of those things, like I said, towards the end. But it's like, just so much coaching that we can do. But we can do group coachings, and we have this throughout the week. So we have Sundays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, and we're talking about even doing something on Fridays, maybe. A lot of that stuff is coming up. But one of the things I want to cover on getting started is the coaching we had this weekend. So this past weekend was still the weekend, but yesterday, as a matter of fact, it's funny how the time is just like time is moving. This year, 2023, it is just flying by. We originally had 7 different events that we were going to do towards the year. I don't think we've done a third of that. I mean, it's just so much stuff going on, but it's all good stuff. Productive, trying to stay ahead, trying to stay above, trying to do so many things at one time. So it happens, but we are trying to do as many events as we can. So this weekend, which was yesterday, we had the passive income, the extended stage using campers, no RVs as we learned in the event, and a fifth wheel. So we're going to talk about a lot more of that coming too. One of the events that's coming up available is the Shadow, which, a reminder to many of you who've already attended the Shadow in the past, especially if you have not been there for a year or two. Every Shadow, we always include more. Everything that we're doing, and that's the goal, is that everything that we do ourselves, because we're coach and mentors, we're not teachers. I do not teach people out of a book. I coach people based on what I am doing, basically the concept of what works. So every shadow, we're going to include something different, something new. Whether, these past shadows have been Airbnbs, Section 8s, veteran assistance, and now we got the whole extended stay, which weekly stay rentals in a sense with campers, fifth wheels, etc. Extended stays will also happen inside of mobile homes. So, the camper host concept setup was just something of a beginning, something that we can branch into. We're also going to be incorporating Airbnbs into the campers. So it's a mix and match, if you will. I mean, it's just a lot of the stuff that we're working on. But Shadow, we'll talk about in a bit. But overall, the event went great. It was awesome. We had quite a few people sign up virtually, which by the way, I don't know how many of you are joining me here on Instagram tonight, but the virtual event will be released this Thursday or Friday coming up. So if you join virtually, I know there was supposed to be a recording. We did not have the Wi-Fi, the setup. So what we did is we recorded instead, and you will get a personal recording on the entire event. So you'll have that by Thursday or Friday this week. Let's see, campers, we have, and I know we mentioned a lot of this on the event, but for any investor out there, all these opportunities are equal to everyone. Adding value means equal across the board. So, I mentioned there's 3 pads right now. There's going to be possibly 5 total by the end of the summer. But right now, 3 total vacant pads where if you want to bring a camper, or you have a fifth wheel, or somebody that needs a pad to park it in. This is located in Griffin, Georgia. So just kind of keep that in mind, but we do have those available. We'll talk specifics, numbers, and that sort of thing with you, obviously, and because some bonuses, maybe referral fees, just depends on who you bring into the community. But there's definitely opportunities there. So, and hey, these communities that we do business in welcome subleasing. They welcome investors, and if you're a GMHU student, they welcome you with open arms. So again, keep that in mind as well. But let's see. Let's go ahead and get into the coaching for this evening, which we didn't pick a specific topic for this evening. I know we have a Q&A coming up soon. That's probably next week or the week after that. That's a question back and forth, just Q&A, question, answer, and of course you can bring questions on here as well. So tonight they picked up thinking like a mobile home investor. So that's a good in a sense. When I think about what I would do in a certain investment or certain situation, certain deal, certain problem, certain which, there's a lot of problems can come, just depends on how you look at those. I always try to think it's like, what would my coach and or my mentors do? If they were in this specific situation, that there's something off the chart, off the wall, what would they do? And I think a lot of times when you think about thinking like a mobile home investor or real estate investor or somebody wealthy, successful, it doesn't matter. It's you got to take a step back. You cannot be reactive to situations, good, bad, or different. Take a step back, take a breather, and say, what are the best ways to approach this? A lot of these deals, one thing that we struggle with, and everybody does, is handyman contractors. You've heard me talk that over and over. But aside from them, there can be other issues. I myself, right now, we have issues with about 5 investors who have invested with us for a while. And I think a lot of times these investors get complacent. They get comfortable, and it's just kind of go with it. And they feel because we might have given them exceptions or we worked with them in the past that we're just going to let things go. Well, one thing that I tell all the investors, all the students is this is a business. At the end of the day, it does not matter how you put it, this is a business. The more you allow something to just be a whatever, it'll continue to be a whatever. But if you continue to treat this as a business and discipline and strict, it needs to be a finer line too. Because and I say this, trade spots with whoever it is that you're doing business. If you work for them or if you invested with them the other way around, would they tolerate X amount? Probably not, right? It's typically not. If you had a day job, hopefully you're getting rid of those as well, or salary, or a job description means certain things you have to abide by. So in the same way, it works the same way. And I talked about this on Saturday at the event. Was like, investors tend to kind of almost not belittle, but kind of shrink the idea of I'm not really an investor because I only have one, or I only have 2 rentals or 2 flips or whatever it may be. So they tend to lower this to it's just a small business, or I'm just getting started. Investing or being an investor doesn't really mean whether you have one deal, 20 deals. I have over 500 deals. Okay, we're still learning, we're still doing. But at the end of the day, it's like, you are an investor, regardless of how many numbers you have to treat it as a business. And I keep going in that it's a business. So, don't be a hard butt by any means, but be specific and be strict on what can and cannot be tolerated, accepted, or will go through, etc. Okay. So, a lot of those things happen. I always, and I do have coaches, absolutely. I have mentors, and there's many times where I know the answer. I know what I need to do, but sometimes I just need to hear my mentor say, yep, go with that. There's a relief, if you will. I know I was right. I just had to verify one last time. And that's why you have to have coaches and mentors. And, if you do not have either of the two, there's always somebody out there doing something that you're trying to do, trying to succeed to a level that they've already acquired. So having somebody that maybe take you under their wings or give you suggestions or, add value. You cannot reach out to somebody in the sense of, give me a fish, but teach me how to fish is a different situation. I know you invest in mobile homes. This could be to somebody that I look up to. I'm trying to get started. My funds are low at this time, but I respect a lot of what you do. And one of the things I want to do is hopefully get some help from you. Maybe some suggestions. In the mix of that, I love to add any value to you. Those are golden words. I'm not reaching out to just gimme, gimme, gimme. And that's another problem that I see a lot of investors. A lot of these investors that come to us is, we treat everybody equally. We try to help everybody as much as I can. And the people that I love working with the most is the hungrier. He or she who comes to me and says, I'm ready to get started. I'm down to do this and that, and I'll work 24/7. Those are beautiful words. But now it becomes a thing where now it's me, me, me again. So when I start seeing a lot of that, it's like, you're not adding any value in return. Everything is about you. And I know that the way you carry yourself with me could be the way you carry yourself around with park managers, park owners. You call a community park manager or an owner if they operate it directly. And when you do the pitch, it's not long before I realize when an investor's talking to me and saying, Jay, nobody accepts me. Nobody wants to work with me. All these parks say they don't want to deal with investors or they don't want any subleasing, etc. But it's like I'm listening to you. Very wealthy, successful people have told me, Jay, When you open your mouth, you let the world realize who you're about. So when I hear these people saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to build this and I'm going to create that, I want to have this, none of that is we. So it's like a substitute of stop saying I'm going to this. You're not going to do anything unless you get accepted. You're not going to get into the community unless they want to work with you, right? And if there's been previous investors that have already came by there and burned a bridge, it doesn't matter if you've ever connected with these people or not. It's like they've already dealt with an investor. So when you come out there and say, I'm an investor, they will tell you you're just another one of those. And I say that from experience because I've heard that many times. I wasn't one of those, but okay, I guess somebody else came through here and yes, they burned the bridge. But if you build that relationship, that business relationship, continue, follow up is key. Sooner or later, they will accept you. And if you make it about us, we, and not just yourself, that's going to be golden for you. So thinking like an investor, it's always put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Be a problem solver. That's number one. Also, is you can't just be about you and thinking how you can become wealthier, more successful. But it's like you can't burn bridges for sure. You can't take it personal. I I'll repeat the story. I had one shadow event I was thinking about. It was actually about this time 2 years ago. And we were talking about the whole pitching and how do you approach park owners, operators, or how do you deal with people you want to do business with. And there was this one individual, which he's doing phenomenal at this time. He's a student, he's an investor, he's been a partner, he's even brought us deals. So you see how he's adding value. But I just randomly I picked him. I said, give me your pitch. I'm a park owner, park manager. I want to hear your pitch and let me see how I can better it, if any. And he gave me his pitch, and I mean, it was many seconds. I mean, a few seconds of just the way he was coming across. So then I turned it more into a coaching situation. I said, is this how you come across to community managers, park owners? And he said, yeah, if they don't want to work with me, screw them. That's what he said to me. He said, if they don't want to work with me, if they don't want to hear my pitch, screw them. That was his attitude. So we definitely had to stop for a second. Okay, that was a perfect coaching for everybody in the event, because it was like, if that's how you carry yourself, one thing to remind every investor: the mobile home niche is small. There's a lot of communities out there. There's a lot of mobile homes. There's a lot of private pieces of land, and but these people talk. We have massive events that we have like SECO, SECO event, where all these park operators, all these managers come together, and they have them all throughout the nation. Sooner or later, you will run into somebody who says somebody knew somebody, and that's how we grow. It's the whole branding, social media. So, somebody rejects you, it cannot be personal. And that's the immediate thing that I had to relate to him. It's like, you think that because they tell you no, or because somebody came by and burnt the bridge, that suddenly you're taking it personal. That's going to affect your future. This community park owner is going to talk to the next one. And when you say your name, it's like, we're not doing business with you. Why? Because of that situation. So he had to change his approach, and he did. He immediately definitely took it as a learning lesson curve. And I mean, today he is doing deals. I mean, this guy is in multiple states just like us, and he is doing flips, wholesale. I think he's even doing land trust and all kinds of stuff. So good for him. That's a lesson learned. But you got to put yourself in people's shoes many times when it comes to these community managers and park owners. And park owners will always be the easiest to talk to. Keep it about numbers, keep it about business, and they will be your best friend. Just show them how you can make their life better, and they will be for you. They will hound you. I mean, come Monday morning tomorrow, I will have 20, 30 messages from park operators checking in with me. They don't want anything. They simply, hey, yeah, Jay, just checking in with you, see if there's any business we can do. It's typically what they say to me. And we may do something. We may connect with somebody else or talk about maybe some lending, some deals, maybe bringing more homes into the community. Just depends, but that's the relationship that we carry. We never burn a bridge. Now, I'm not saying that there's not business relationships that will not go south. I'd be lying to you if I say that, because they do. And they're unfortunate. We've had some park community owners that they're for us for a while, and after a while, they just don't like the way we do business. They feel like, in a sense, we're taking over, just, different disagreements. We learn to agree to disagree. That's all I'll say that. Just because we as a business do not get along with certain park operators or certain managers does not mean we have to be nasty, ugly about it. You know what? I understand that this time we're not going to agree to come to terms to whatever it may be. So, it's okay if we part ways for a while. I wish you the best. Let's carry on. And when we see them, which we will see them again, we treat them like, hey, they're old friends, is what it is. Now, on the other side of that, it's like, I hope that never happens because I do have some park operators and owners from 7 years ago, from day one where I started, that are still in my life today. That's awesome. And I do absolutely. I take time out of my day, time out of my week, once a month, maybe, quick little email, little message, little text. Hey, Jerry, just I was in the area the other day and I figured I'd shoot a quick hello. Hope all is well. Just, stay relevant. And that's what you got to do with partners and investors and even some of these lenders. You have to stay relevant. The mobile home investing, I'll say, has definitely grown a lot. 7 years ago, it was quiet. I mean, nobody knew about it. And the ones that did, nobody said anything about it. I would visit RIAs and networks and I would talk about mobile homes. And I could tell certain people that kind of were in them or interested, but the stigma hasn't gone away. But it's definitely, I think it's eased up a lot. When you say mobile homes now, it's not the whole M&M 8 Mile or trash for drugs, or people still believe in such thing. And again, I'd be lying if I would say there's not such thing, because there are communities. We grade communities from A part, A plus, something in Florida, to B plus, B minus, C, etc. When you get into the D's, that's where you see the whole, what you would think of a mobile home park. That's more of a trailer park, which they're not calling it anymore. At this point, people call them mobile home communities or mobile home parks. Trailer parks have kind of gone away at this point. But if you know of one, it's probably one of those you see on TV with not the best of ratings, right? So, anyway, I'm rambling on. I didn't pick a specific topic for this evening. One of our admins did and said thinking like a mobile home investor. I hope you can think and just always do the best by everybody you meet, whether it's a resident you're trying to offer opportunities, which is something we work on very strongly to. We like to think that we're doing something that a lot of other people can't do, including banks, credit unions, hard money lenders. Most of these institutions do not lend on mobile homes, which they consider unsecured personal property, is the way they list it. We do not loan on unsecured personal property. And they say that because mobile homes can be moved apparently overnight. People steal them, people don't pay their bills, and they have a whole list of branch. When I started investing and I heard all these things, which I was obviously trying to find lending, a lot of times not so much lending for me, but just to see if I come in and I rehab a mobile home, am I able to sell it to somebody and they can go get a loan? The answer was no. We're not going to lend on that. Even though you rehab it, it's still unsecured. There's still personal property, and it's still not on its land, so it's not considered real property, meaning real estate. I didn't take that as I take that as a how can I better something like that. And the way that happened was, well, I thought, well, then that's an opportunity for me. If I have the ability to finance to somebody a mobile home that I'm selling that I've already rehabbed, and nobody else is financing, I don't have any competition. There is no competition in there. So that being said, again, that opens doors and opens doors. So I'm always thinking, it's like, how can I better assist them? How can I do more? How can I add value? Think about it that way. I was having a talk with one of our reps earlier, and it's always the same thing. It's like, this investor reached out to us because he has a community who I think he was trying to get lending. He quotations had it under contract, but he needed funding for the deposit, which means the earnest, etc. Over the years, I've learned a lot of things and being able to see through a lot of the crap. Yes, I'm going to call it that. A lot of the nonsense that comes through. And it's, all those lies. You cannot have any type of property, whether it's commercial, whether it's apartments, whether it's housing, whether it's stick. It doesn't matter. You cannot put anything under contract unless you put a type of earnest or type of deposit, right? That's the way that it works, because that's what actually locks it up and makes it legible. So if somebody's out there posting for, hey, I'm looking for funds for a property that I already have under contract, well, that's lie number one, right? You're lying to me from number one, because you haven't truly put it under contract. So you need my funds in the sense so that I can give them to you. You can put it on the contract. Now we go into hoping game. I hope he's done his due diligence. I hope the numbers check out. I hope this deal is it's not a business. You understand that that's a hopeful wish. So, again, bringing all these things up far, it's like just keep reminding yourself. It's like do right by the people. One of my coaches, Hugh Hilton, would always say is like, Jay, if you want to get paid the most, solve the biggest problem. Tony Robbins will say the same thing. The bigger the problem, the bigger the pay. And the way that works is because you're giving back and you're adding value. A lot of people, a lot of these, especially new investors, and I'm not calling anybody else specific, all you have in mind is money, 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 money. That's it. That's all you're thinking. Your initiative from day one, you're not thinking about the people. You're not thinking about the deal. You're surely not doing it due diligence on the actual mobile home because all you're thinking is about I'm skipping level one, level two, I'm going to get to the level where I actually make the money. That's nonsense. That's nonsense all the way around. This business is a beautiful niche that a lot of people, I think anybody can get into and definitely succeed from it and be very profitable. But you got to be for the people first. You got to first think, how can I add value? You add the value, you get the pay. That's the way I think. All right, let's see. I hope that works. Hope that answers some of the questions for you, and that helps anybody who's wondering on something like that. Tucson, Arizona, and how we can connect together. I'm gonna drop my email on here as again, even though I had already done it, but Christ, I'm not gonna try to repeat that. But the individual that said I'm a park owner in Tucson, Arizona. How can we work together? So I sent my email. You can definitely send us an email on there. We'd be happy to connect with you. I'll check those emails directly and connect with you. We have a couple investors in Mesa, Arizona, which is not far from. One of them is actually a mover. He sets up mobile homes. He buys them. He sells them. He finances them. And then we have another one, Mr. Rudy, who is phenomenal. He's out there in Mesa as well, and he's doing all kinds of flips and connecting with park owners. So, I mean, we got connections. This is the beautiful part about networking, connecting, is you're always going to meet somebody. Always reach out to somebody. So definitely thank you for joining us tonight and send that message. I hope to see your email and we'll definitely connect. But all right, so that does it for this evening. I'm going to go ahead and knock off a couple announcements. I'm sorry, I'm trying to run off and I haven't even announced what's going on. So Tuesday, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. EST time, we have a live Instagram right here where we're at, where we pitch the best off-market deals. The best off-market deals, we're talking about mobile homes inside of communities on private land, individual land, zone for mobile homes, and or community parks. We do it all. We're talking about buying a community park now out in Dublin. One that kind of went, came back, went, and came back. So now we're thinking it may be the right time. So we're thinking about that as well. But this Tuesday is not going to happen. This is an every Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST time call. I will be traveling, visiting one of our other investments, which is the ledlifestudio.com. Y'all can check that out as well. I'll be down in Tampa, Florida, and reviewing some mobile homes while I'm at it, probably further south also. That being said, the call is going to be moved over to Wednesday evening. Everybody that's subscribed to us gets emails. You'll get a reminder and you'll see that on their big alert. Hey, call is not happening Tuesday, moving on to Wednesday. Same time, same back channel, 7 p.m. EST time. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. continues. I know this past Saturday, 10 a.m., we went live for maybe 10 minutes, and that's because the event was starting. That was the campers extended stay rentals. So we kind of had to branch and get on to focus on that as well. But we got that going on. Shadow. A lot of people have asked for that. So here's what's going on with the shadow. And it happens every year. Every shadow event booms right around summertime, which is a good thing. Great thing. Is what it is. The shadow is a day where you get to come by my side directly, small group, we make it personal, a little more private, and we go on to a community. I'm going to show you step by step how to get deals, how to talk to sellers, how to negotiate, okay? What's your maximum allowed offers that you're able to make, MAOs, what is the actual value? One of the biggest struggles I see investors make is I don't know what the value is, but somehow you still make offers. Weird. I'm going to teach you what the actual value of a mobile home as is condition, whether it's distress, fixer upper, name it what you want, what the value of those are. I'm going to teach you how to hire contractors, how to pay them, how to hold them accountable. I'm going to teach you about exit strategies, the whole wholesale rentals, flips, Section 8s, veteran assistance, Airbnbs, you name it. All those things we're going to list. And this is what I was talking about towards the beginning is every shadow we add a little bit more and a little bit more because we're always learning. We're always adding value. Each time you come to the shadow, you are getting the latest and the greatest of what we're doing all above, period, right? We're going to teach you about closings, the documents, the due diligence, how to check for liens, about titles. Personal property is not real property, which means we typically do not go through attorneys and brokers and realtors. It's a simple, more like a vehicle. That's what a mobile home is. So we're going to teach all these steps, but every shadow that we've had around May or June, they fill up immediately. And we've had some of the biggest shadows. 2 years ago, we did not put a cap and we ended up with 60 attendees. I'm not trying to stop anybody from joining our events, but what happens is mobile homes are small. Try to fit 60 people inside a mobile home. This is not a pretty sight. So we had to divide that into two classes and kind of go back and forth, which, is what it is. But I don't like not getting personal. I want to make sure that I answer every question that you have, that I get to meet you, handshake you, and of course, make sure that you succeed. That's what we're there to try to add value. That event is now listed for May 20th. It is not on the site yet. It will probably go on there. We have 2 coachings that we have to do throughout the week, and we're going to present it. But I would say by Friday of this week coming up, it'll be listed. If you're serious about creating passive income, cash flow, generating wealth, okay, creating a better future for you, your loved ones, your family, etc., you need to join this event. I don't have a day job. I don't have a salary. And I'm not going to go too much more into this, but I quit my day job 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was the best thing I've ever done. Stop working for somebody else, making a minimum wage, and start creating the pay that you deserve. Simple as that. All right. I will leave you with that. So check that out and we'll be in touch. Thank you for watching.